Greetings, Fansplash fans! Welcome to our Infinity War review. We finally got here. You followed us on the road to the review, and now we're here for the review. So let's get on it.
I want to talk about this review of yours. I think it's great, except it sucks. So if you let me do the review, it might turn out really good.
Wow.
So, I mean, just getting right into it, my favorite part is the fact that they actually got Wolverine. Like, I didn't think they acquired the rights, but... Oh, this is the non-spoiler one, right? We're not spoiling okay, anything. Sorry. Just
come on,
Just
dude.
Mute the first... Undo what you heard. Don't worry
I'll
about it.
put down the Wolverine clause.
Okay, that's fine. So, 19th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They couldn't squeeze one out to make it the 20th. The 20th for the 10th year. Couldn't squeeze one more out.
Oh, wait. I was going to say part 4 would be 20, but it's definitely going to be 22 because there's 2 other movies.
Or it'll be 21.
You're blowing it, Marvel.
We're supposed to know. Look how shiny my head is.
A little speechless. I watched it for the 3rd time this morning. Tyler watched it for the 2nd time. If you're pondering how long these Hulk hands are going to be on, I'm not sure yet. But
do they open and unopen? Can I? Yeah. They haven't done that before. Oh, you go in. They used to have one. It was a bar. Like there was a bar in it, and it was already a closed fist.
Just literally overpriced foam.
Here you go. You can have the set.
Thank you.
I'd hate to break up the set.
This is my jerk hand.
Do you get the reference? Do you understand the reference? I said I'd hate to break up the set.
I do, but I can't. I don't.
It's Civil War with the pens.
Oh.
The FDR pens.
Wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
That was a good cut. Getting into it, it's hard to talk about this movie, especially not with spoilers. So, we're going to put ourselves on a time check a little bit and try to just cover the general basis of what really worked and what some of our problems may or may not be. So, I just want to start out characters. Who stood out to you?
Easily Thor. Easily Thor.
Thor takes off right from Ragnarok and continues a lot of what made Ragnarok great as a movie and Thor great in that film, and we get a blend of all the different kind of Thor movies that we've seen.
I want to say that Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War took a character that he went from being my least favorite to my most favorite.
Right.
Thor's probably my favorite right now.
Because they let Chris Hemsworth be Hemsworth.
Right. And it's just so much better. It's so much better. Now Thor's the best, and I still can't really go back and he was fine before, but he's a shining beacon now.
And I think that's a great example, and I think it's hard not to love like every character in this movie, but if you're going to pick one standout, and I'm going to pick one standout, mine's Doctor Strange. If you want to talk about the one character that made me just like over and over again in the movie, it's going to be Doctor Strange.
I was thinking about this a lot. Doctor Strange. We love Doctor Strange, and I was thinking about that too. I was like, this is a good next installment for Doctor Strange. He's important.
Yeah, he's very important. And I think what this movie also does is if you haven't followed the Marvel Cinematic Universe as closely as we have, this is the selling point for all these movies.
Right.
It's like, oh, you haven't seen Doctor Strange? You might want to now.
Yeah, for sure.
You didn't see Black Panther? Maybe you want to go see that.
Right.
Like, it's definitely like, oh, wow, I've missed something. I should get caught up. So I think...
Do we want to talk about people who maybe didn't stand out as much as you had hoped?
Sure, not that they did bad, but they didn't get as much as we wanted from them. And right before we cover that real quick, it's just the way the Russos handled this so brilliantly is instead of just chucking every character in one space, not getting into who and what the groups are. You see a little bit of it in the trailers, but they do break out these 300 characters that we have and put them in different spots so that we can follow 4 continuous storylines at once. And I think that meshing is what helped make this movie work.
Yeah.
But go ahead to characters
it's done really well. All the characters mesh together well. Nobody feels like they weren't done enough, but I do feel... Let me rephrase that. There are characters that feel like they weren't done enough, but it didn't not work. It didn't feel bad.
Right.
So Black Panther.
Sure.
There was not enough Black Panther for me. And Spider-Man. There was not enough Spider-Man for me.
But what Spider-Man did with his screen time, I think, is just
always
super solid.
Always.
And I have to avoid how detail they get about how much screen time each character got, because
Sure.
then maybe you could fill in the blanks. But there are definitely some of the Earthbound characters that I was expecting to get a lot from because they're fan favorites. And this movie had the balls to say, we're going to focus on the characters that we think intertwine with Thanos' arc the most. And we're going to focus on that. And these other characters, we will, we'll cover it, but don't expect.
Who do you think didn't shine enough?
Captain America's my favorite character.
Yeah.
Like, in general, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they didn't... He had a great intro. His intro was solid. That's the other thing. Every character had a beautiful intro.
Mm-hmm.
The second every character showed up, it was a cheer moment. And every audience I've been in, there was a lot of cheering and excitement, and so that was really appreciated.
I'm with you. I felt that way about Captain America for sure, but I didn't want to deter people from seeing this movie because they might be going for just
He still
Captain
has
America.
moments. Every character has moments, so don't let anything deter you from seeing this movie. It's very well done. Is there anything in the character spectrum that you want to get into? I should say out of the heroes.
No, because I don't know how to do it without going into spoilers. If you, yeah, okay. So let's move on to the next.
We'll
thing.
have a spoiler discussion once I have my required,
and it'll
accessories.
be not super long.
Yeah, it'll be longer. I think we can get into spoilers longer than we get into
Sure.
This. But all right, let's talk about the big guy. How'd he do?
Great. It was. What's weird is I don't really have a previous relationship with Thanos other than what he's been in the films. So I didn't know what to expect from him, but I had this idea of who he is, and that was not it. Which isn't a bad thing by any means. He was actually a really great character. Very understandable in like a bad way.
Right. You're crazy, but I get you're crazy.
Right. No, Thanos great, sort of plays as the main character, I would think.
It really does. And the Russo brothers kept saying that this is Thanos' movie, and everybody would read those articles and go, yeah, I don't know. And then you watch and you're like, yeah, it kind of is. It's, I almost slipped
4
a little bit. But I'm not
storylines,
gonna.
all told pretty well.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
And I want to say the CGI on Thanos as a person, as a being, especially watching this 3 times now, is the most impressive CGI I think I've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe a lot with the motion capture. You see hair follicles, freckles. You see where, like, Thanos could have had hair.
Right.
Like shaved beard and, like, he's not just bald. Like, there could have been hair there. Because there's, like, little hair follicle spots and everything. It's like, it almost looks like Josh Brolin in prosthetics, but it's not.
Right, yeah, he looks really good. Like the arm, especially in his fingers, you notice it really well.
Oh yeah, you see cuticles and just like, wow, it's
impressive.
We have come so far, and he kills it, metaphorically and literally. He does a great job in the movie, and I was very excited to see that. I'm trying to think of, before I get into criticisms, what are some of the positives, other positives we can say about this movie to get people's butts in the theaters?
I just love the way that the movie ebbs and flows. It kicks off with a bang and it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Structure-wise, without getting into spoilers, but, just, you're not going to feel bored during this movie. You're not going to be waiting for it to be over. You're not going to feel like there's really any serious dips. So...
If anything, I think most people by the end of this movie are ready for another half hour.
Oh, at least.
Not saying anything, but like I think people are ready for more when it's over. And not obviously again not getting into specifics, but there was a moment where I leaned over to Tyler and I said, I appreciate that this film gives no room to breathe. It's weird that it's kind of on my pro and con. Like pacing wise, I love that it just goes, but like in hindsight, looking back at it, you're like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
This is hard to watch. This is tiring.
But not in a bad way.
No, not really.
Okay, yeah, we can get into cons unless you have another pro.
If I do, we'll come back to it. But yeah, cons. If you have one off the top of your head.
No, you're going to have to go first.
Okay, I can go first. We'll not talk about who, what, where, whatever, but it was announced over a year ago that Peter Dinklage would be in this film. I don't particularly care for his role, and not so much his role. Like, the role's fine, I guess, but the portrayal. This is one of the few times I've seen him seemingly overact.
I was thinking that I was the first time I didn't notice it, but the second time, it was like he was like miming in a music video. Like his acting just wasn't as good as Game of Thrones.
Right. I was like, you're better than this, Peter. And so yeah, we won't get into it, but you'll know. You'll know him when you see him.
His character's good.
It's interesting, and it's cool. It's a cool inclusion to have. So I'm glad that they did that. So that didn't really work for me. And like I said, better or worse, it's a breakneck speed, and you're either gonna like it, not like it, or it had to be. There is no other way that this movie could have been and worked. It needed to be this fast paced, this busy, this much going on. But like we brought up, that means some characters get a little shortchanged. There was no way to avoid that. With this many characters, could not be avoided.
I've got a great spoiler-free con.
Go for it.
Just Chris Pratt, not him, but his mustache and his hair. His hair looked ridiculous. Who let him go out with that hair?
Who let him gain weight?
Like he didn't gain that much weight. It
depends on who you ask.
But like you think my hair's bad, and his was like, whoa, that look.
Sure.
Am I the only one that noticed it? I don't know. I thought it was different.
I noticed one aesthetic that I need to now see it a fourth time to see, like, was it really like that? But, like, I think Vision's face makeup, which usually looks great, I was looking at it in one particular scene. I think one of the things that goes over his eyebrows wasn't all the way glued onto his face. And I think it was coming off a little bit. And I stared at it really hard. I was like, no.
Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not good.
Look at this. We had, like, 1 point. And then after that, it's, like, the most nitpicky things.
Right.
It's insane. So. And, Black Panther, I think we spent like almost 10 minutes talking about what we didn't like about the movie. This is way harder. Especially...
it's because it's spoiler free.
That too. But I just don't have a lot of complaints about it. It was kind of amazing. And it was an event. It was an experience. If you haven't seen it, go see it. If you have, see it again.
It lived up to my expectations. I loved it. I'd give it a 9 out of 10 just because of what it achieved cinematically.
And that's not something like just a pass away comment. Like saying it reached my expectations is like, but where were those expectations?
We put out 18 videos and a promo for this freaking thing. We were ready for it for years. This is 10 years in the making, man. We had a lot of hype to live up to. And I feel like in so many different points in this movie, they honor each of those 10 years. Right. And there's so many references to all these other movies. Right. I mean, you got to think, like, we had high expectations for The Last Jedi, and that was only 2 years living up to it, and we fell down to earth, like, real hard. Yeah. And then this one, don't expect this so one, much. We were climbing the ladder higher for the roller coaster dip, but we just coasted. It was a really good movie, so yeah, go see it. Go see it now. My last comment, or one of the last comments I want to make about the movie is just something about like, with certain audiences, depends on what audiences you go with and stuff, but I've noticed, seeing it as many times as I have so far, that there's some common things that I just really enjoy, and it's the laughter at the things that are funny. Just hearing resounding laughter around you is very contagious. And then there's moments in this movie where you're going to gasp. Things are going to shock you. And hearing those gasps and shocks and what the F's like all around the theaters and stuff is such a cool experience that you don't get every time you go into the theater, because you don't have movies where these characters have been built up for 10 years. Right. So when something happens with or involving a character that has been around, has been in multiple movies and stuff, the fan base reacts, and it is just one of the coolest experiences that's hard to really capture. It's similar to watching a TV show for a long time. This is the most expensive TV show in the world, high budget, second to Land Before Time. Yeah. So yeah, those are some of my final thoughts about it, because obviously we can't get too into it, but any lasting thoughts? I'm just so glad that there's only a year this time. Oh my god! Between, like, just over a year, but still, I'm getting older, so perception of time is getting less. The years are much shorter. Closer to dying. One post-credit scenes. I just need to live one more year, God. Just one more year at least. And then they're like, Avengers 5 is coming out. I need a few more. I want to live long enough to see the DCEU get rebooted and be this good. Like, please. Can I live that long? Pump the hate brakes, Thanos. All right. So
Stay tuned for the spoiler review. If you haven't gone back and checked out our Road to Infinity War, this guy put so much damn work into that thing. It would appease both of us if you were to go and watch those. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We really appreciate it. Thanks for being fans. Thanks for being loyal. Go see Infinity War. Rock and roll!
Peace out.
Peace out. May the film be with you. Pump the hate brakes. I hit the mic.
Thanos. Wow, that's
Destiny
dark.
still
Are you
arrives.
sure you're not from the DC universe?